We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. This is the second technique in the series of looking techniques. It says, look upon a bowl without seeing its sides or the material. In a few moments, become aware. Look upon a bowl without seeing its sides or the material. In a few moments, become aware. It seems weird, it seems difficult, but this is how it is. Looking at anything, a bowl or any object will do. But you have to look at it in a different way. The looking quality has to be different. Look upon a bowl without seeing sides or the material. Look upon any object. But these are the two conditions. Do not look at the sides, or do not look at the sides. Instead, look at the object as a whole. Normally, when we look at something, we look at parts. It may not be done so consciously, but this is how it is. We look at the parts. You have a laptop in front of you. You have iPhone. You do not look at it in its wholeness. If I look at you, or if you look at someone, what you do? First you look at the face, then torso, then the whole body. This technique involves when you look at something, you look at the object as a whole. Do not divide it into parts. This is what we actually do. Because when you divide something in parts, the eyes have an opportunity to move from one part to another. Looking at a thing as a whole, you can do it. I can look at you in two ways. I can look at you from this side and then move. I can look at A, then at B, then at C and go on moving. When I look at A, B and C, I am not present, or I am just present on the fringe but not focused. When I look at B, I have to leave A and C. When I look at C, I have been completely lost. The person has gone out of my focus. I can look at this group in this manner, but I can look at the whole without dividing it into individuals, into units, taking it as a whole. You have to try it. First, look at a thing moving from one fragment to another. This is the technique. Then suddenly look at this thing as a whole. Do not divide. When you look at a thing as a whole, the eyes do not need to move. In order not to give any opportunity for the movement to the eyes, this condition has been made. This has been made as a condition. Look an object totally, taken as a whole, and secondly, without seeing the material. If a bowl is made of metal or wood, do not see the wood, do not see the metal, just see the bowl, the form. Do not see the substance. Yes, when you are looking at something, you see the front part. You do not see the back. But in order to see, you need to look at it whole. Your focus should be on the whole object. Be it bowl, I am looking at the speaker, it is in front of me. I am seeing top to bottom the complete, the logo, the wire that is connecting, base, where it is resting. Normally what happens when we look at it, we start looking at the material, what it is made of. If it is of wood, do not see the wood. Do not see the metal. I am seeing the object is there in front of me. The object is, I have four things in front of me. The Blue Yeti microphone, iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. I am seeing the complete MacBook, the screen, the keyboard. Similar is the case with the iPad and iPhone. But I am not concerned, I am not seeing the metal, because that is immaterial. Look at an object totally, taken as a whole, and suddenly without seeing the material. If the object is made of the bowl, let's say, what it is made of. The speaker that is in front of me, what it is made of. Metal or the plastic or something else. It's not important. What is important is that I am seeing it as a whole. It may be of gold, it may be of silver. Just observe it without making any comments or any thought arising. Do not look at the material of which it is made of. Just look at the form. There is a form. This is the microphone is cylindrical. It is hinged on to the base, which makes it change its position. That too is not important. It is one piece standing straight, erect. That's what I am seeing. Do not look at the material of which it is made of. Just look at the form. The first thing is to look at it as a whole. Secondly, look at it as a form, not as a substance. Why? Because substance is the material part and the form is a spiritual part. And you are to move from material to non-material. It will be helpful. Normally, when we look at any object, we look at it in parts. We focus on its material. Material comes from the word matter. The form is of a spiritual dimension. You are not looking at its material, instead you are looking at the object whole, its form, what it is made. When I see you, you are a form. You are made up of 5 elements, which is matter, which will dissolve. Try it. If you can try with anyone, maybe a man or a woman is standing, look and take the man and a woman wholly into your look. It will be a weird feeling in the beginning because you are not habituated this way, but it is beautiful. It becomes beautiful in the end. And then do not think about whether the body is beautiful or not, whether it is black or white, man or a woman. Normally when we look at a person, first of all, we look at his color, the form of the hair. There are people from Indian subcontinent who are black in color, but their hair is straight. When you look at the people of the African descent, they are not only black, but their hairs are not straight. So we keep on looking at this. We look at the man or a woman. So you have to change this outlook. You are looking at the person and its form, whole. In the beginning, this creates a weird situation because you are not accustomed to looking at it this way. But in the end it becomes beautiful. Then you do not divide the person as Indian on the basis of color, caste and creed. And then do not think about whether the body is beautiful or not, black or white, man or a woman. Do not think, just look at the form. Forget the substance and look at the form only. In a few moments you will become aware. Go on looking at the form as a whole. Do not allow the eyes any movement. Normally, our eyes move when we are looking at an object or a person. Do not let the eyes move. In a few moments, you become aware. Go on looking at the form as a whole. Do not allow the eyes any movement. Do not think about the material, if it is an object, if it is a person. Do not look at his color, the dress that he is wearing, whether he is a man or a woman. Normally, when an accident takes place, the first thing that is reported, how many men, women or children. The focus should be so many persons were involved in an accident. Do not start thinking about the material. What will happen? You will suddenly become aware of yourself. Looking at something, you will become aware of yourself. Why? Because for the eyes there is no possibility to move outwards. The form has been taken as a whole, so you cannot move into the parts when you have taken the person as a whole. The material has been dropped, only the form has been taken into account. Now you cannot think about gold, wood or silver. You cannot think about man or a woman, white or black, the hair is straight or curly, nothing. A form is a pure form. No thinking about is possible. A form is just a form. You cannot think about it. What is there when I look at you to think about? Normally we look at it. What this person looks like? Is it black? But black does not identify the identity. Then you look at his features, look at his the structure of the hair, in order to ascertain the identity of the person. Here you are not interested in the identity of the person. You are looking at the person as a whole, his form. A form is pure form. No thinking about is possible. A form is just a form. You cannot think about it. If you cannot think about his nationality, identity or anything. You cannot think if the bowl is made of gold, silver, wood or any other material. There is nothing that you can think about it. You cannot think about it. You would like to steal it, or to do something with it, or sell it, or you think about the price of it. Many things are possible that can come to your mind, but of pure form, no thinking is possible. When I look at you as a form, it does not matter that I am looking for a woman or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or any other identity. Many things are possible. But of pure form, no thinking is possible. Pure form, stops all thinking, all possibilities of thinking, and there is no possibility of changing from one part to another. You have taken it as a whole. Remain with the whole and the form. Suddenly you will become aware of yourself, because now the eyes cannot move. Eyes move when you are looking at the face, then you're looking at its other parts of the body. When you do not move from part to part, what will happen? The eyes will stop all movements. The eyes will get fixed. The point is how to make your eyes fixed. You can use this example, looking at the form, not looking at the material or its sides or looking in parts. Yes, the form is that in front of me is a laptop. What its brand, what its make, what its color is not material, it's not important. It is a laptop. It has a screen which is needed. I am looking at the screen as well as the keyboard and the mouse pad. Looking at it whole, not looking at the parts. And when you do this with a person, you suddenly become aware of yourself, because even if it is an object, when you are not moving from side to side or from this to that, or you are turning the lid or going behind that to see what is the brand, what is the identity of this laptop. It is a laptop with a screen and a keyboard and a mouse pad. This is complete. That's what I am looking at it. And in looking at, your eyes become fixed. When eyes become fixed, mind becomes stationary. It is not moving, or mind is not thinking. What is the brand of this? What is the model? Nothing is important. And in that you suddenly become aware of yourself. You are not aware of yourself because every moment your eyes wobble and keep on moving from object to object. If you can look at one object, this is kind, in a way you can say it is a steering. You become aware of yourself. It has such beauty and such bliss that you cannot compare it with anything else that you have known. The moment you look at the person as a whole without seeing his form or identity, you become aware of yourself. And the bliss, the joy that it brings, you have never known before. Really, for the first time you become aware of yourself. For the first time you know who you are. Your being is revealed in a flash. But why does it happen? You might have seen in children's book, particularly a picture, or in some psychological treatise. But I hope everyone must have seen somewhere or the other a picture of an old woman, and in the same lines a beautiful young woman is also hidden. There is one picture, the same lines, but two figures are in it. One old woman, one young woman. I had a friend. He was a painter. He painted one painting, and that was beautiful. In that he showed within the same structure 3 faces of a woman, a child, a grown up, and old. When you look at the painting was one person, one image is painted, but when you look at it, you are seeing the 3 aspects of it. Look at the picture. You cannot become aware of both simultaneously, and I could not become aware of it simultaneously, that 3 images are infused into one. You become aware either of one or the other. If you become aware of the old woman, you cannot see the young woman is hiding in it. But if you try to find her, it will be difficult, and the very effort will become a barrier. Because you have become aware of the old woman, see, she will have become a fixed image or fixed object, a fixed thing in your eyes. With this fixed thing, you are trying to find the young woman. It is impossible. You will not be able to find her. You have to do a technique. And what is the technique? Just stare at the old woman and forget about the young woman or the child hidden in it completely. Stare at the old woman, at the old woman's figure. Stare. Go on staring. Suddenly the old woman will disappear, and you will become aware of the young woman hiding there. Why? If you try to find her, you will miss. This type of picture is given to children like a puzzle, and it is said to them, find the other. Then they start trying to find her, and because of effort they miss it. I love that painting very beautifully. It is that the whole painting was in a sitting posture. When you are looking, it was painted and given it to my uncle. It was framed. It was quite a large painting, but it fell down there and the glass broke. I tried to, and nobody took care of it, and I wanted to take the picture with me, but that time I was a little boy. But that painting cannot be erased from my memory. The more you try to discover the other, you will not be able to discover. And that was in my teens when I saw it, and that registered. When later on I found this technique of looking at the object without looking at the sides or the material, I remembered that. Just stare at the old woman, forget about the young completely. Stare at the old woman, at the old woman figure. Stare, go on staring. Suddenly the old woman will disappear, and you will become aware of the young woman hiding there, or the little girl hiding there. If you try to find her, you will miss. This type of picture is given to children as a puzzle, and they are asked to find the other, but they go on missing it. The trick is not to find her. Just stare at the figure and you will become aware. From the early teens, whenever I will go by my uncle, I will look at the picture and keep on staring for, at times, for long. So forget the other, no need to think about it. That there is, this painting has a old and a young and a teenage child. You can never find. Forget the other, no need to think about it. Your eyes cannot remain at one point if you start thinking. So if you stare at the old woman figure, the eyes will become tired. Then suddenly they will move from the figure, and in that movement you will become aware of the other figure which is hiding just by the side of the old woman in the same lining. But the miracle is that when you become aware of the young woman, you cannot see the old woman, but you know that both are there now. This is what I had experienced by looking at that painting. Because when you continuously keep on looking, staring at an object, eyes get tired. And suddenly you become aware of the one that is hiding, which is not visible to you. In the beginning, you may not have believed that the young woman is hiding, but now you know, because you have seen the old woman first. Now you know that the old woman is there, but while looking at the young one, you cannot simultaneously become aware of the old one. And if you become aware of the old one, you will miss the young one again. It was shown the 3 stages of life: the child, the youth, and the old. All were incorporated in one painting of a woman. You are seeing completely when you stare. At one point of time you will find that this is the painting. In this painting there is a child. There is an adult woman with black hair, and then old woman with wrinkled face. Imagine the painting that could incorporate a wrinkled face, a youthful face, and a child's face. It changes. Sometimes when you look at the master or an awakened one and you stare at him, you become aware of this. You are looking not at his beard, not at his color of the hair or the wrinkles on the face, but you are seeing him as a whole being. At one point in the process of continuous staring, you will observe the youthfulness. Sometimes we become aware of this, we see this in a flash in the master. but we overlook, we do not give attention. Both cannot be seen simultaneously. You can see only one at a time. The same happens with the outside and inside look. You cannot have both looks, inside and outside, simultaneously. When you are looking at a bowl or any object, you are looking out. The consciousness is moving out. The river is flowing out. You are focused on the bowl. Go on staring at it. That very staring will create the opportunity to move, because in staring the eyes get tired. Your eyes become tired, then they would like to move. Finding nothing to move out towards, suddenly the river will turn back. That remains the only possibility. You will have focused your consciousness to fall back. And when you become aware of you, you will miss the bowl. It will not be there. That is why Shankar, Nagarjuna says the whole world is illusory. They have known it this way. When we come to know ourselves, the world disappears. Really, the world is illusory. It is there. But you cannot see both worlds simultaneously, the inner and the outer. That is a problem. So when a Shankar enters into himself, when he comes to know his self, when he becomes a witness, the world, the outside disappears. So he is right when he says the world an illusion, but you have heard his words and you say that the world is illusion, which is not your experience. It simply appears to be, but it is not there. Be aware of the fact. When you know the world, you are not. You are there, but hidden, just like a young woman or a child hidden in that painting. And you cannot believe that you are hidden there. The world is too much present for you. And if you start to look at yourself directly, it will be difficult. The very effort will become the barrier. So Tantra says, fix your stare somewhere in the world, on any object, and do not move from there. Remain there. This very effort to remain there will create a possibility for consciousness to begin to flow upwards or backwards. Then you will become aware of your whole self. When you become aware of yourself, the bowl will disappear. But it is there not for you. For you it will not be there. So Shankar says world is illusory, because when you come to know yourself, the world is not there. It appears like a dream. When Epicurus, Marx or Charvak, they are also right. They say world is true and yourself is just false. It is nowhere to be found. They say science is real. Science says only matter is, only objects are. There is no subject. They are right because the eyes are focused on the object at a moment. When your eyes are focused on the bowl is reality for you. In the same way for Karl Marx, the world is a reality, and that's why he said the religion is the opium of the people. A scientist is constantly focused on the objects. He forgets the self completely. Both Shankar and Marx are right in their own way and wrong in another. If you are fixed upon the world, you look at it, your look is fixed on the world, the self will look illusory, like a dream. This is what happened to Marx. If you are looking inwards, the world has become a dream for you. Both are real, both Shankar as well as Marx are real. You will meet the old woman or you will meet the young woman, and the one become an illusion. But this technique can be used easily. It will take a little time, but it is not difficult. I become aware of this, not knowing what this actually meant. I used to love to watch at that painting with 3-in-1. Once you know the turning of consciousness, you can do it anywhere. Just riding in a bus or sitting in a train or in a plane, you can do it anywhere. There is no need for a bowl or any object or any person. You can do it with anything. With anything, stare and go on staring and suddenly turn inwards. And the train disappears, the plane disappears. Of course, when you come back from your inner journey, you will have revealed, but the train will have disappeared. From one station you reach to another, and in between there will have been no train, just a gap. Of course, the train was there. Otherwise, how can you come to the other station? But it was not there for you. For you, it was simply not. This technique can be practiced. Those who can practice this technique, they can live in the world, but the world will not live within them. Those who can practice this technique, they can live in the world very easily. Any moment they can make anything disappear from their consciousness. Remember this. You are bothered with your wife, with your husband. You can have her or him disappear. The wife is there sitting just by your side and she is not there. She is Maya. She has disappeared. Just by staring and then turning your consciousness inwards, she has ceased to be there. And it has happened many times. You may not remember. I remember Socrates. His wife Xantippe was very much worried about him, like any other wife. And any wife would have been in the same dilemma. To have Socrates as a husband is one of the most difficult things to tolerate. Socrates is good as a teacher, but not good. He was not good as a husband. So one day it happened, and because of it, the wife has been condemned for thousands of years, continuously. But that is not just. I do not think she has done anything wrong. Socrates was sitting there, and he must have been doing something like this technique. It is not recorded anywhere because this technique is based on the Hindu understanding, and Socrates was not of a Hindu understanding. Socrates was sitting there, and he must have been doing something like this technique. It is not recorded, and I am just assuming that he has been doing this. His wife came with a tray, a teapot, to give tea to him. She must have found that he was not there. So it is reported she poured the tea upon Socrates over his face. Suddenly he came back. His face remained burnt for his rest of his life, and because of this his wife was condemned very much. But no one knows what Socrates was doing there, because no wife could do this suddenly. There is no need. He must have done something. Something must have happened there. That is why Xanthippe had to throw the hot tea over him. He must have been in another trance, in his inner trance, and burning sensation of the tea must have brought him back. The consciousness returned. I assume that this was the case because there are many cases reported about Socrates which are similar. For 48 hours he was not found. He was sought all over. The whole Athens went in search of Socrates, but he was not to be found anywhere. Then he was found outside the city, miles away, standing under the tree. Half of his body was just under the snow. The snow was falling, and he was just frozen, standing there with his eyes open, staring wide open. But he was not looking at anyone. When the crowd gathered around, they looked into his eyes and they thought that he was dead because eyes was not moving. His eyes were just like a stone, looking but not looking at anyone. Just static, not static, unmoving, not dynamic. They felt his heart. His beating heartbeat was slowing. The heart was beating slowly. He was alive. They had to give him shocks. Only then he came back to look at them. Immediately he asked, "What is the time now?" He had missed 48 hours completely, and those 48 hours did not exist for him at all. He was not in the world of time and space. He has entered in the realm of timelessness. So they asked, "What are you doing? We thought you were dead already." 48 hours. He said, "I was staring at the stars, and suddenly it happened that the stars disappeared. and then I do not know what happened. Then the whole world disappeared for me. But I remained in such a cool, calm, blissful state that if it is death, it is worth thousands of lives. If it is death, then I would like to enter it again and again. This was a beautiful anecdote from the life of Socrates. It may have happened without his knowledge, because Socrates was not a yogi, not a tantric. He was not in any way concerned consciously with the spiritual practice, but he was a good thinker. It may have happened as an accident that he was staring at the stars in the night, and suddenly his look returned back inwards. You can do it. The stars are really good objects. Lie down on the ground, look at the black sky, and then fix yourself on one star. Concentrate on it. Stare at it. Narrow down your consciousness to simply one star. Forget all about other stars. By and by, concentrate. Narrow down your gaze. Other stars will be there, but on the fringe, on the boundary. And by they will disappear, and only one star will remain. Then go on staring, continue staring. A moment will come when that star too will disappear. And when that star disappears, you will disappear into yourself. You will disappear into your innerness. What is there more for me to say? When you have disappeared, you may not have experienced it at this moment as I am speaking, but it is happening to me. No sound, nothing there, just pure emptiness. Only this much for now. This was the second technique. If you want me to speak on this again, send me a message. It is important for your growth, for your inward journey. Just as I am silent, you will find something has become silent and unmoving in you. I know this has happened, not only to me, but with me to you as well. Take care and do have a pleasant day.